Death Valley is one of the most extreme places on Earth. A land so hostile its very name sounds like a warning. But Death Valley wasn't always called Death Valley. In fact, over thousands of years, this place has carried many different names. Some names described life, some described wealth, and only one name focused on death. So what were the other names of Death Valley? Who named it? And why did this name finally stick? Number 7. Tümpisa, the original name. Long before explorers, settlers, or maps, Death Valley already had a name. The Timbisha Shoshone, who lived in and around the valley for centuries, called it Tümpisa. The name comes from a natural red ochre found in the valley, used for paint and ceremonial purposes. It roughly means rock paint or place of red earth. This tells us something important. To the Timbisha, this land wasn't a death trap, it was home. Where outsiders saw emptiness, the Timbisha saw resources, roots, and rhythms. For thousands of years, Tümpisa was a living landscape, not a deadly one. Number 6. Panamint Valley and neighboring names. Before borders were fixed. Early maps didn't treat Death Valley as one clear place. Spanish explorers and later American mapmakers often lumped the region into nearby valleys and mountain systems. One commonly referenced area was Panamint Valley, just west of modern Death Valley. To early travelers, these deserts blurred together, vast basins surrounded by jagged mountains, difficult to cross and poorly understood. The lack of a single fixed name reflected confusion more than intention. This was land outside control, outside settlement, and outside easy mapping. In other words, unnamed land was unconquered land. Number 5. The Great American Desert, a place to avoid. In the early 1800s, much of the American West carried a broad, ominous label, the Great American Desert. This wasn't a specific place name, but a powerful idea. Maps used it to describe huge stretches of land considered useless for farming, settlement, or civilization. Death Valley fell squarely into this category. Government reports warned settlers to stay away. The land was described as barren, hostile, and economically worthless. Ironically, this label delayed settlement. But it also made later discoveries more shocking, because deserts weren't supposed to be valuable. Number 4. Furnace Creek and local feature names. As explorers pushed deeper into the region, they began naming specific locations instead of the entire valley. One of the most famous was Furnace Creek. Legend says it was named after prospectors who found an abandoned furnace used for smelting ore, or because the heat felt furnace-like itself. Either way, the name reflected experience, not exaggeration. Early settlers didn't name the valley as a whole yet. They named what they encountered: springs, creeks, passes, and camps. Naming small survivable pockets before naming the whole landscape shows hesitation. No one wanted to define the entire valley yet. Number 3. The 1849 Gold Rush nicknames. Everything changed in 1849. Gold seekers, rushing west to California, took a disastrous shortcut through the region. They became known as the Lost 49ers. Wagons broke, animals died, water ran out. Many barely escaped alive. In journals and stories, survivors used grim phrases to describe the land, the Valley of Death, the terrible valley, that God-forsaken place. According to legend, as one group finally climbed out, a woman looked back and said, "Goodbye, Death Valley." The name wasn't official yet, but the idea had taken hold. Number 2. Death Valley. Before it was official, was a name that spread by story. For years, Death Valley existed more as a warning than a label. Travelers repeated the story. Maps began adopting the phrase informally. The name carried power. It wasn't accurate. Relatively few people actually died there. But it felt true, and that mattered more. The name transformed the valley from an obstacle into a legend. Number 1. Death Valley. This is the name that stuck so fear wins. By the late 1800s, Death Valley became official. And once it did, it changed everything. The name had discouraged settlement, attracted thrill seekers, amplified the valley's mystique. Ironically, it also boosted tourism. People wanted to see the place so dangerous it was named after death itself. The Timbisha name faded from maps. The older meanings were buried. The valley was no longer defined by survival or resources, but by fear. Names are power. They shape how we see places and how we treat them. To the Timbisha, this was a livable homeland. To settlers, it was an enemy. To modern visitors, it's an extreme wonder. Same land, different names, different stories. So yes, a Death Valley had other names, but the name that survived wasn't the oldest. It was the one people remembered. And sometimes history isn't written by those who lived in a place, but by those who barely escaped it. If you had named this place first, would you have called it Death Valley? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed exploring Death Valley had other names, make sure to like this video, subscribe and explore more of our travel history series. History is full of lost places waiting to be discovered, and we'll take you there.